Hey everybody, it is David Victor from Boomcycle Digital Marketing, and we are back here today with another SEO website teardown. So I don't like that word teardown, it's so negative. We want to help people, we want to be positive, so let's positively help this company. So they are called Cobalt Communications. They are a marketing agency for life science companies. And some of the services they offer are, branding, positioning, campaigns, presentation, strategy, and content marketing. So they are probably doing some blogging. It looks like they are doing some blogging, so that's good. And let's see how effective their blogging and SEO efforts are. So this is pretty much the first tool we use to sort of diagnose what's going on under the covers. This is a tool called Ahrefs, and basically with Ahrefs you can look at any site, from the outside looking in. We don't have access to their Google Analytics or Search Console, obviously, but the data set that Ahrefs uses is roughly equivalent across all domains. So if you see good things happening on one domain versus a competitor versus another competitor, you can be fairly certain that good things are happening in there based on that type of an analysis. That's sort of a heuristic. So looking in here, we can see some of the stats. I'll try to make my screen a little bigger here. We can see here that the domain rating is low and dropping a little bit. This is something we would, build up through doing, block and tackle SEO basically. So it looks like they are building links. It changes over the last year. So they are building links. They're getting more referring domains, growing their keyword list. So it looks like they are doing SEO, but, is it effective? And this organic traffic value is always one thing I like to point at, because what this is a measurement of is the organic search terms that your website is ranking for, is visible for. The total value for these folks is $34. So that means in order to attract 85 visits to their site for the keywords that are driving the traffic to their site, they would have to pay $34 in Google ads, right? So not a lot of money. This is a cost per click number for a local HVAC company or something like that. So it's not a lot of value being driven to the site. So let's see if we can figure out what is going on. So we look in here, we see where the traffic is coming from, mostly United States, possibly their link builders are in the Philippines, and doing diligent work, I'm sure, but is it effective? So let's look at those links, shall we? So what I like to look at is, in content, do follow links, see, the ones that are the most effective. And we can see here, they're getting a link from martech.health. Is it a real site? Maybe. It's got a decent DR rating, but that can be gamed a little bit. Usually not on the low side. If you're going to game it, you want to game it on the high side, right? And we can see here there's approximately 28 visits to this page. So this is a key stat. It means, if there's actual activity on this page that is pointing to our site, then, it could be a valuable link, right? The traffic in the overall domain, 1,400 a month, it's a healthy number, not a terrible number for a link to point to us, but that's really where we stop. We've got one here from Robotics and Automation News, just based on the domain name. My guess would be maybe not I won't make any value judgments. Maybe it's amazing. I don't know. Let's go take a look at that page and see. There you go. So maybe it's not a site that is maintained. Wow, that was a good, that's a good call. Thought it was going to get nailed there. And even so, maybe they've got 3, visits per month to that page, and then down here you can see that falls off a cliff, right? Brandfetch.com, driving, 0 visits to their page, and then you figure, well, what's the value of a backlink from a page that has 0 visits? Not a lot, right? And you can see all these other links not getting traffic to their site. So if I was cobaltcommunications.com, I would probably look to upgrade my SEO campaign and try to get some more healthy links to my site. So What's the most important thing with SEO? SEO is content and links, basically. Doesn't need to be overcomplicated, but if you boil it down to those two concepts, you're doing you've pretty much got a handle on it. But what kind of links and what kind of content, right? So let's see what they're ranking for. Well, they're ranking for their own name. And this is very common, right? You'll see this a lot where a company is ranking for their own brand name. I mean, you better rank for your own brand name, right? That's what I say. And they're getting about 12 visits a month. These traffic numbers do tend to be a little on the low side. The real number could be 48, could be 24, could be 16. But in Hrefs, again, it kind of measures everything relatively equally. So if you're seeing, 12 on this site and 10 on another site, you can be sure that they're probably close, and one, the actual numbers are a little bit higher. But they're ranking number 2 for their brand name. There could be another company called Cobalt Communications. And then they got a blog article here that's ranking. So that's good. Internal versus external communication. I think it was a blog article. I pulled it up a second ago about internal communication, transmitting messages and information within the organization. Like, do your employees know what you do exactly, and what things to look out for when people are interested in the kind of products and services that you provide? So, could be a good article, is driving some good, compared to their homepage, right? Driving some okay traffic. It might be a little deeper than you might want to see from your blogging, especially when you're at this level, right? You want to get the real basics, out of the way first. Like, what is it exactly that you do, and describe, with a blog article, basically something about one of the services that you provide, right? So this could very well be that, and maybe a good, first shot across the bow. It looks like, there's a lot in here. And they got some little call outs here, and definitely a decent size article. I would encourage them to add a video, right? People on mobile probably not going to read this whole thing. Maybe it's a desktop target, but mobile and really anyone, right, who just wants to get a summary of an article might be more inclined to click on that. So we're not ranking for that many keywords. This one blog is driving pretty much all the other traffic. And then you can see some minor losses here on some other terms, Cobalt Associates, which may not even be them, right? And, not a lot else going on. These are the traffic numbers, and yeah, they're probably higher than this, but, ones or zeros are things that, you are ranking for, but nobody's, this is too broad, right? So what do we do in these cases? Well, normally what we do is we do a competitive analysis. We look out at all the, marketing communications, maybe in life sciences, marketing communications. What are the other sites out there? What are they doing? Because again, we can look at what they're doing in terms of link building and content development. And we can see where things are effective or ineffective. For example, with SEO companies, right? We can look at other SEO companies and see what articles are doing well for them, and we can potentially write similar kinds of articles on our blog because that's showing that, hey, people are interested in that topic, right? So you have your own twist on it. You don't never copy, but you create an article around that same subject is a good good strategy. So let me look at a couple other things here, see if there's anything interesting. So yeah, on this top pages report, basically tells you, what are the pages driving the most traffic. As we saw from that other organic keywords report, you can see that, most of the traffic is coming to this internal facing public relations article. So, good on them for writing that. There's some interesting spelling in here. And maybe some searches around this term. Not a lot else going on this site. So, developing a fresh content strategy would probably be, first in my mind, and then follow that up with, strong, link building efforts that, don't involve, PBNs or other shady things. I think that's a good overview here. Again, we want to always be seeing, value and growth increasing. This is a pretty, looks like they've been doing some paid. In fact, that's how I found them. They were doing some paid right now. Because usually when people are doing paid, it's because organic is not blowing up. Not always. A lot of people will do it in conjunction. But, if your organic is working, a good example is like, oh, we're bidding on our brand name. Well, if your brand name, if you're doing anything properly with SEO and your site is even halfway decently optimized, you should be ranking for your own brand name, right? Why bid on your own brand name? Unless a competitor is bidding on it, in which case you might want to show up above where they are. So that's it for now. A little look at this website and some of my thinking behind it. And I hope you found this useful. And let me know if you have any questions. David Victor, Boomcycle Digital Marketing. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.